Well, hello there. Welcome to our big grand finale for the acrylic pouring extravaganza. And this is kind of just a little extra bonus day. It's the last day to join the pouring studio membership. If you're interested in that, I'll talk about that just a little bit. But we've covered a whole bunch in these last 2 weeks. And I just want to welcome you all and just say thank you so much for sticking with me, for watching all of these live streams, watching all the demos, asking a whole bunch of amazing questions. And I especially want to say welcome to all my brand new members. Thank you so much for joining the pouring studio. I think you're gonna really have a whole lot of fun, learn a ton about acrylic pouring, and we're gonna get started next week with our brand new technique of the month. So thank you so much, everybody who has joined me for these 2 weeks. And whether you're going to become a member or not, I really, really appreciate your time. I know that it takes a lot of time to watch this, and I really, really appreciate it. So we've got a lot of people already here. Welcome, everybody. Monique is here. We have got Donna and Susan. Welcome. Pat has joined us. Awesome. Linda is here. And Lorna. Welcome, Lorna. All right. So welcome, everybody. Now, if you have any questions, feel free to throw them in the comments. I'll answer any last-minute questions about either the Pouring Studio membership or the bonuses I'm offering or anything else you might want to ask. Feel free to throw it in the comments. I'm going to show you in just a little bit, I'm going to show you all of the paintings we've done over the last 2 weeks. It's quite a lot of them. We've done some paintings with a glue medium. We've done a bunch of funnel pours. I'm going to show you the dry results of all these different paintings, so you can kind of get an idea of what they all look like when they're dry. And all right. And then I want to show you a couple other things too. So welcome, Lynn. Awesome. Thanks for joining us. Congratulations on joining the Pouring Studio. Thank you so much. I think you're going to have a blast. I'm super excited about next week. We're going to jump into the string pull / chain pull. It's going to be awesome. So first of all, I wanted to just give you a quick little tour, and we'll show you how to access all these bonuses or resources that I have provided for you. If you've joined the acrylic pouring extravaganza, you got all kinds of fun, awesome resources. I just want to show you, if you don't know, how to access them. So I'm going to jump over, I'm going to share my screen, jump over, and show you where all of your bonuses are. And if you don't have them yet, you could still sign up by the end of tonight and grab all of these awesome free resources. So let me share my screen quick. I've talked about this many, many times. I don't think I've shown you exactly where to find them. It's pretty easy, but just in case you don't know how to find them, I'm going to show you right now. And I'm going to jump over to, let me share my screen here, and then click this button, and that does that. Okay, so here is the acrylic pouring extravaganza page. This is the sign up page. It had all the links to all of the different videos we did all week long, or all these last 2 weeks. And so all of this stuff is here, but you could grab the Canvas covered cheat sheet 2.0 plus a whole bunch of other great resources. And I'll show you how to get them. If you just go and log in, and I'm going to log in with my little profile thing. You use your email and the web password you set up when you joined. Is that right? When you joined the, nope, I didn't do it right. I'm talking and typing. There we go. This will work. When you joined the extravaganza. So here we are. Now I'm inside the pouring studio. If you're not a member of the pouring studio, you'll be in another page, and you get to that page right here, this products page. So if you click on this products page, it will take you to all the different products that you have inside the Acrylic Pouring Academy. And right here is the acrylic pouring extravaganza. These are all of the bonuses that you'll get, or that you got when you signed up for the acrylic pouring extravaganza. By the way, here are all of the other things you could get if you become a member. Here is all of the pouring studio content. This is the membership content. All of the replays to all the videos, all of the other resources we use. Everything is in here. Right here is a Foolproof Pouring mini course. This was my first course. It's kind of a beginner course. It takes you step by step through the entire process if you're brand new to acrylic pouring. This is the new course I just came out with, Fluid Art Foundations. It's a pretty comprehensive course. It covers my entire paint pouring system, including my paint mixing system, which is very detailed and walks you through everything that you need to know about mixing your paints, mixing formulas, measuring your ingredients, everything you need. So that is my newest course. And then here is the acrylic pouring extravaganza. Let's click in this. And inside here are all of the PDF resources that you have access to. There's a bunch of them. So this is a very handy section to sign up for, a very handy thing to have. Here is the Canvas Coverage Cheat Sheet 2.0. Way back 2 weeks ago, Monday, we covered a bunch of stuff. Here is a recommended color list. These are the colors I use all the time, the brands and specific colors I like to use a lot. An essential supply list. If you don't know where to start getting your supplies, this covers everything you need to get going. Here are a bunch of other resources. The Foolproof Mixing Formula. We covered this on Tuesday, and we did a demo. And this is using the glue-based pouring medium and craft paints. Very simple, easy to follow formula. We've also got the easy mixing formula right here in ounces and also in milliliters. This is kind of my go-to formula for when I'm using Flotrol. Wednesday, I covered a bunch of color theory stuff, and you have access to a whole bunch of awesome color theory resources right here. On Thursday, we covered paint consistency, and I gave you a sneak peek into my paint consistency course. And I shared one of the tools you'll get access to if you get that course, or if you join to become a member, the porometer, and how to determine the standard pouring consistency. I walked you through how to use that. And right here on Saturday, we covered another kind of a fun color theory idea, and I showed you some different color scheme ideas of coming up with different kinds of color palettes to use in your paintings. And then on Monday, we jumped into the funnel pour. I gave you a whirlwind membership experience, kind of condensing a whole month's worth of content into 1 week. And we covered the funnel pour in this week. So here is a funnel pour technique sheet. And then we also have in the studio chat, I covered the paint pouring mindset. Very handy little PDF here to get you kind of in the right frame of mind, some things to think about as you're preparing to do your paintings, or if you're very frustrated with your paintings, maybe this is something you could review and think about and get yourself in the proper mindset to create something really beautiful and kind of get out of your own way is another way to say it, because our expectations can really wreck a whole bunch of stuff. So I covered a lot of that in the paint pouring mindset. And a lot of people had great comments and were very happy I shared all of these resources with them. 22 comments. That's pretty awesome. So that is where all of these resources are. And I'm also going to share with you, I'll send it out after we're done here, or maybe I'll just show you where you can get access to all of the replays if you want to go back and review any of these videos that we've covered. I'll show you how to find that. But this is where you go to get all of these resources inside the acrylic pouring extravaganza. So just go to acrylicpouringacademy.com, click the login button, and you'll have access to all of these great free tools and resources. So let's see, as long as I'm on this page, let me go back here. I'm going to jump over to YouTube, and I'll show you something cool. So let me make sure it's showing up. There's YouTube, and I'm just going to click in my name, broadcasting, and right here up pops broadcasting acrylic pouring. If you click on this, and you go right down here, here is the acrylic pouring extravaganza playlist. So this houses all of the videos that we've covered these entire 2 weeks. I haven't added the final ones yet, but they'll be in there after we're done here. But this is where you can find all of the videos covering everything we went through, and you can review them if you want to. But it's all right here under the Acrylic Pouring Extravaganza playlist, right on my homepage under Broadcasting Acrylic Pouring and Acrylic Pouring Academy. So that's where all of the videos are in case you want to check them out. If you missed any, they're right there for you. If you want to review any, you can find them all right there. So that's kind of a little bit about where all that stuff is. And let's see here. So let me stop sharing my screen now. So I just wanted to walk you through that in case you were wondering, where are all these resources? That's where you can find them all. So I'm going to just check and see if there's any questions that might have come in while I was showing you that. Let's see here. And welcome everyone else who's joined us. Chris is here, and that's awesome. And Barbara is here. Hey, Barbara. Sharon has joined us. Sonia, awesome. So welcome everybody. Let's see here. Judy is here. Hey, Judy. Glad to see you. And let's see. And yeah, Donna is saying, if only I could have helped with the taxes. Oh, I don't think I could have helped much at all, Donna. I would have made it a whole lot worse. But I hope you got them done. Oh my gosh. All right. So anyway, that's where all of the resources are. Again, thank you so much for joining me for these past 2 weeks. It's been a whole lot of fun. It's a lot of videos. I can't believe I've been doing this every single day, but it's really, really fun. I enjoy teaching and sharing and talking to you and answering questions. So it's been a blast for me. So let's take a look at some of these paintings that we created during these 2 weeks. So I'm going to flip to my other camera here, and let's bring it up. So here is the first one. Let me move this. This is the first one we made. This was the Foolproof pouring paint mixing formula. This was just glue, school glue and craft paints. And I used some dimethicone, which was in the, as you recall, the coconut milk anti-breakage serum right here. This is what I like to use more often now than silicone, I think. I've used the silicone many, many times, but I really prefer this. And let me show you something here. I have not done anything to this. It's just dried normally. That's it. I'm going to just tilt it, and you can see the shimmer of the gold. But what I want you to notice is there are no big, like, shiny puddles in the paint. Silicone usually leaves great big shiny puddles, and that's the silicone. There are no puddles in this one. There's hardly any residue that you can notice. It might be kind of difficult to see, but there's no residue whatsoever. And I've done tests before, and I've just varnished right on top of these types of paints using the coconut milk serum with no cleaning, no anything. I just take my Liquitex varnish, go right over the top, and it works just fine. I don't notice any pitting or separating where the silicone or the dimethicone was. So I think this is a whole lot easier to use and clean. Now, I haven't put resin on top of this yet. I don't know if that would work, but I think this is a much easier way of working, especially if you're going to be using a varnish on top of your paintings. I've been very happy with it, and I've done that several times as a test and experiment, and never once have I had any problems with the coconut oil. It just kind of goes right on over the top, and with no issues whatsoever. So you might want to give that a shot. It wouldn't hurt to wipe these down with like a wet wipe or something like that, a cleaning cloth. But if you want to try it without, go right ahead. I've never experienced any issues at all. Now you could try the resin. I'm sure I'll try that in the future too, just to see what happens. It works really, really well for me. But this was a fun painting. This was a double flip cup that we did. And we got a lot of cells. We torched this very carefully, and all these cells popped up. It's a very fun painting. I really like this. And I love using the silicone or the dimethicone with the glue-based medium. You can get these very beautiful, pretty cells, very unique looking. So I really like using this a lot. And that's pretty much the only time I use the silicone now, except for maybe the rare swipe that I'll do. I'll use the coconut oil as well with that. But that was our first painting using the very, very simple Foolproof mixing formula that we covered on last week on Tuesday. So that was painting number 1. And let me go into show you painting number 2, which was our first funnel pour. And here it is. This is a very simple but striking funnel pour. And I did this during the funnel pour walkthrough. I just used a black base coat. I spread that on. I actually did a flood coat and tilted it all over the canvas and edges and corners before we poured our funnel on there. I used, I think, 3 or 4 colors. And I believe it was just one funnel. And then I did some very aggressive tilting to move the paint and shift it to get these very interesting shapes. So this was a pretty simple, pretty simple technique, pretty simple funnel pour. The tilting process is a bit different. You really have to kind of move quickly and just to get that paint rolling and moving around in interesting different ways. But I really like this one a lot. It's a simple one, but quite nice, quite fun. So that was our second painting. And let's see. And then our third one on, I believe it was Tuesday, we did 2 different paintings. And that was the funnel pour technique or painting night live. So I did 2 different variations of the funnel pour. Here's the first one. I went back to the glue-based medium and I added some more of the coconut oil. And we did a funnel pour on black again, very simple kind of color schemes. We had some copper in here and did the tilting, and then I torched it. It was very pretty before I did any torching. So you don't have to use the silicone or the dimethicone if you don't want to. It was a very cool painting before we brought up all these cells, but I quite like the effect that we got with these cells. And again, it's very shimmery. You can see the metallics in here. It's very shimmery, but there are no puddles caused by the dimethicone, the coconut serum. So this was our third painting. Quite like this one a lot. And then we did another one using the Flotrol based pouring medium. And that was my easy formula. Let me show you that one. And here it is. And this one we did a split base coat. So I had a very light off-white color up here, a very dark color down here. I think it was black, pretty much just black. So we had a split base coat that we put on our canvas first. We ran our funnel all the way up through, kind of right on the edge of where these 2 base coats met. And then I ran it back through again. I redid it twice. We ran it through 2 times. We did some very aggressive tilting after I did some finger swipes, a few finger swipes, and I brought out my combs to everyone's horror. I did some very subtle comb swipes in here, but it turned out very nice. It's a very pretty oceany kind of color scheme. I'll probably be working with this type of color scheme and base coats again and on some larger pieces. I love the effects that we got. I love the finger drags that kind of ran through here. And then after we do the finger drags, we do that aggressive tilting to shift and move the paint in interesting ways. And you can end up with some very dynamic, very beautiful paintings with just a simple funnel pour is all this really is, and two different colored base coats. So that was our second painting on Tuesday. And then on Wednesday, we talked about some mindset things. On Thursday, we had a big old Q&A, which was really fun. And then yesterday, on Friday, I did 2 more funnel pours. And let me show you the results of those. And I actually mixed up a whole bunch of special colors. And I'll talk about that in a second. So, but this might be one of my favorites that we did during the week. It's given me a lot of ideas for future paintings down the road. So I'm going to put that one away and bring up our second to last one. Now this one turned out very nice. These dried, I kind of forced the drying on these with because there was a lot of paint on here. I did these yesterday. And there was a lot of paint. They needed to dry quickly. So I had a fan going very, very slowly, just circulating the air just ever so slightly in my room, in my painting room. And having that very, very slight air movement will dry your paints quicker than having no air movement whatsoever. Of course, it is very warm here, and that helps a lot too in San Diego. And it's very dry, so that also helps quite a bit. So, but this is a fun painting. This was a ripple funnel pour, and it started very different than this. And there's also multiple ways to do the ripple funnel pour. If you haven't seen that one, you might want to go check it out. It's very cool. And we used some very interesting paints. I used 2 different types of pigments in this painting. I used a color shift blue, and I used an interference color, interference from Amsterdam. And I want to show you what that does. So I'm going to lift this up, and I'm going to just start tilting it into the light so you can kind of see what the interference colors will do. And so the interference is kind of spread throughout this painting. I'm just trying to get it so it will reflect here for you. But hopefully you can see some of that. It's very reflective when in person. It might be difficult to see on the camera, but some of these areas have kind of a color shift quality to them. Like right in there, that's like right in this area, right in here, there's a lot of color shifting qualities, and that kind of is spread throughout the canvas. And that's caused by the interference colors. And I'll show you what that looks like. The interference paints look like this. This is one of them. Amsterdam makes them. Liquitex Basics makes them. Golden makes them. They look very white because they dry very clear, and they have this color shift quality to them. This is a pearl violet color shift. So it's kind of a pearlescent violet sheen that gives it gives your paints. So it's kind of like a thin layer on top, and then when you move your painting or look at it from different angles, the colors kind of change and shift a little bit. So this is what we used in this one, and I also used a blue color shift paint. This is from Folk Art. They make quite a few different color shift paints. And these are fun to use, and you can kind of see some of the color shift within this kind of blue-violet color within here. So we use some interesting paints. The pigments, you can't really see the pigments too much, like what they did, but the color shift and the interference stand out quite a bit. So that was kind of just a fun experiment, fun test. I don't use those paints all the time, but they are they're fun to play with and try out, and just to see what they'll do. So this was a very fun technique. And again, I caused horror and terror by pulling out my combs and doing a little manipulating of the paint puddle. But I just wanted to show you what was possible with all of these types of pours. So let's take a look at our last painting. And this is the big one. This was 16 by 20. And I, again, used a lot of the color shift paints in here. All of the same colors are in here. It dried very nicely. I'm very happy with how it dried. And I'm going to, maybe I'll zoom out just a tiny bit. And there we go. And so you can, I'll turn this one, you can kind of see the iridescent kind of color shifting interference paints. It can be kind of difficult to capture that. Kind of right in here, you can see it. Right in this area, you can see it pretty good in the light, but it's kind of scattered throughout the painting, what these different types of paints do. And they're fun to play around with. So right in here, all in here, it looks like it's gold, and we didn't use any gold in this painting, but that's the interference and the color shifting doing its thing. So that turned out very fun. So it's an interesting, unique type of painting. Again, you could play with those. I don't use those paints all the time, but they are fun to play with here and there in certain types of situations. So those are all the paintings we did in these last 2 weeks. A lot of great results. I like what came out of this one. I used way too much paint in this painting for what I was going for. So I'll try this one again, perhaps without all the color shifting paints, but try my initial idea of what I wanted to do. But it still turned out to be a very fun painting. So I quite like it a lot. So I'm going to just move this one over here. And let me go back here. And then I want to just ask and see if there are any other questions that you might have had about anything we covered all of these 2 weeks, regarding any of the handouts or any of the demos or any of the techniques or mixing formulas or anything. Now is the time I would be happy to answer any last minute questions you might have. And that, I think, will conclude the acrylic pouring extravaganza. It's been a fun 2 weeks to spend with you. And let's see. So while you're thinking of any questions, I'll just reiterate that the Pouring Studio membership is currently open, but it will be closing at 9:00 p.m. Pacific time, which is midnight Eastern time. So we have a final few hours if you're interested in joining. Next week on Wednesday, we start our brand new month with a brand new technique. And we'll be just working on our regular membership things. I'll be creating new courses and rolling those out in the months to come. And if you join us now inside the Pouring Studio, you'll get access to all those courses now and forever for free. Every course I make in the future will be yours at no additional cost. So something to think about. I'm going to throw the link in the comments, and you could go read a little bit more and see if the Pouring Studio might be for you. If you'd enjoyed these last 2 weeks, well, that's pretty much what we do all the time inside the membership. And the new courses that will be coming out will be answering lots of very specific things. We have a paint consistency course, which will be very, very handy and helpful for everybody, I believe. We have an art pricing course. I'll teach you how to price your artwork if you're getting ready to sell your paintings or want to think about selling your paintings. That course will come in very, very handy. There's already the Fluid Art Foundations course in there, which is a great overview or walkthrough of everything you need to know about acrylic paint pouring. And then many, many more courses coming down the road. So the link is in the chat. You can go read a little bit more about that and join if you wish. And I'm going to just check, and there were a few questions that came in. And Judy is asking, do you use the color shifts that are close to the acrylic paint colors you're using? Usually I do. Like, I like to keep them in the same family. All of these paintings we did this last week were analogous color schemes. So they're all colors that are next to each other on the color wheel. So I like to kind of keep them within that same close family. I was following that color harmony. So that's a great question. And Joella has a great comment. She said she did a ring pour with purples, light blue, and blue. It dried very dark, and so she went back after it was dry and embellished some lines with Deco Art Silver. Yeah, that's a great idea. You know, if things don't turn out the way you want, find a way to make them better. You know, that's fantastic, Joella. And make the painting the best you can. If we're all going to run into problems, it's going to happen. They're not always going to turn out exactly how you wanted them. But if you can find a way to turn them into something better, fix the problem, or turn it into something new, that's great. So congratulations, that's awesome. And Lynn is asking, were the backgrounds dry or wet on the two-tone background in black backgrounds? They were all wet. So I put on a wet base coat. I put on a base coat on pretty much every single painting I do. And the two-tone base coat just was two different colors, all wet. And then you run the funnel pour through them. And the wet base coat really helps, gives the paint something to flow into. So it always is nice to have a wet fluid base coat. And especially if you're tilting, you want that slippery surface. It makes the paint just move around so much easier. So yeah, everything was wet. And okay. And Chris has got a great comment. I want to just read this. You have inspired us all. I'm going to put all my favorites up on the wall in the spare room. I'm amazed at some of the results. Can't believe I did them. The others stay on the floor. Yeah, and you'll be amazed at some of the paintings you'll create. If you go through, you just follow the steps correctly, mix your paints to the proper consistency, come up with some interesting color schemes. It really is magical what you can make. And I'm constantly amazed at some of the things that the paint wants to do. And if we can let the paint do its thing, coax it along here or there, I think you'll be amazed by the result you'll be getting. And like more often than not, as you keep practicing, keep building your skills, keep experimenting and learning about color. Yeah, it's a never-ending process, and progress will continue for as long as you are engaged and keep learning. Thanks, Chris, for that. That's great. So I really appreciate that. All right, and let's see here. Cool. And Kathy's got a question, and she's asking, are the folk art paints iridescent? They're very similar. Like these color shift paints, these are not necessarily iridescent. Iridescent is a different word, is a kind of a different a word that means metallic. Iridescent and metallic and pearlescent actually are all very, very similar types of effects. The color shift it's an iridescent looking color because it does look metallic-y. So it does have an iridescent quality, but the paint, what it does is it has that color shift. So it changes slightly when you look at it at different angles. It'll go from more of a blue purple, like a red violet color, or blue-violet color, excuse me, to more of a blue, just more of a blue color. So it has this subtle shifting of colors. If you've ever seen like a crazy car driving down the street that's got this weird color shift to it, it looks green and then all of a sudden it looks like it's orange or something like that. You're like, whoa, what's happening there? That's a color shift. So it's kind of a combo, I guess, like this type of paint. It's got an iridescent quality, so it does look kind of metallic. And that's because the color shift comes from like a specific type of mica particle, which is like a metallic-y looking particle. But it's got that extra little element included where it kind of just changes as you look at it different ways. So that's a long-winded answer of saying, yeah, it's iridescent too. So great question, Kathy. All right. And Nancy is excited to get started. Yes, great. I'm excited too, Nancy. Thanks so much. We'll see you Wednesday. Fantastic. And Nancy is also asking, sorry, but probably said this, but what kind of chain and how much for next week? I'm going to cover all of that on Monday. I'll probably put together a little supply list and I'll send that out to you. So that will all be available to you soon. And we're going to get started on Wednesday, but I'll send that out Monday so you'll have it. And if you want to gather your supplies, that would be awesome. So we're going to be doing string and chain. There's different types of chain that you could use, different sizes. I'll tell you what I recommend, but which is pretty much whatever you can find, that's most affordable for you. But but I'll put together a small supply list and send that out. Awesome. And cool. And let's see here. Any other question? I thought I missed one. And Kathy is excited too. That's awesome. Hey, Kathy. It's been great. Excited to be part of this colorful group. Wonderful. We're very colorful. That's for sure. So we love our colors. Glad you could join us. And all right. So I'm just checking any other questions you might have. Yeah, and Barbara just said she did a swipe with turquoise blue flash. That's another type of a folk art color shift paint. And it looks like turquoise on one view and then like a shimmering purple if you change your view. Yeah, that's very cool. So yeah, it's a fun paint. It's a fun paint to play with. Thanks, Barbara. All right. So any final questions? And Barbara also said, trying to duplicate it and just adding another color changed the outcome completely. That's the way it always goes, isn't it? Like you never know what you're gonna wind up with. It's very, very difficult, if not impossible, to duplicate these paintings. Which can be very frustrating if you look at it, one point of view, but it's pretty amazing from another point of view, because every single painting you make is unique, one of a kind, never to be duplicated. It's a very special, thing that you've made. So cherish that, I think, and just keep that in mind. No one else is ever going to be able to make what you just made. And maybe that's a good thing sometimes, but oftentimes that's a very special, kind of wonderful thing, I think. So, all right, cool. So no other questions. So what we're going to do next week, just in case you're wondering, Monday, I'm going to send out an email with the schedule for everything we're going to be doing next week. And that's going to be our string pull, chain pull walkthrough, technique walkthrough, which will be on Wednesday. On Tuesday, I think, the day before that, we're going to have our April art show. And it's going to be a little earlier this month. But we're going to have our April art show on Tuesday. So if you're brand new to the membership, if you made any kind of painting or want to submit any kind of a painting to the art show, you have all day tomorrow and all day Monday. There's I talk about the art show a little bit inside the welcome section of the membership. So go ahead and submit a painting if you want to. Put hashtag April Art Show. You can submit that through the Facebook group, or you could submit a post inside the membership, and you'll be entered to win a prize in our April Art Show. So that's going to be Tuesday. It'll be a whole lot of fun. And Wednesday, we're going to do our string pull, chain pull walkthrough, and that will be great. I'll also send out that small supply list. You don't need very many things for this particular technique. String and chain being the most important, but paints too. So I'll send that out, and that's what you can expect on Monday. All of the links will be in that email. They'll also be inside the membership, and it'll be a super fun week, I think. Whoa, okay. And that's what we're doing next week. So if you want to be a part of that, again, the membership is open through tonight. It closes at 9:00 p.m., midnight on 9 p.m. Pacific time, 12 midnight Eastern time. And so a few short hours left to join. I'd love to see you inside our membership. It's going to be a whole lot of fun this month and all these months to come. And we're going to be doing, I have lots and lots of very fun stuff planned. So, and Monique is saying, now we all have to detox from seeing videos every single day. Me too. I have to take a little break. I might do that, not this coming week, but the following week. But I'll talk to you about that on Wednesday. So, all right. And Judy's asking me, have I ever tried the mix pouring medium? And I have not tried the mix paint pouring medium yet. I've been meaning to order it. I always seem to forget about it, but I will order some and give it a try. It looks very interesting. I know a lot of people like it and a lot of people use it. So I'll give it a shot. I'll see if what I think about it. So, and then I'll let you know. So, all right. Well, I think I don't have any more questions. But I just, again, want to thank you so much for joining me these last 2 weeks. It's been a whole lot of fun. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned a lot. I hope you download and use those resources that I provided for you. I hope they help you in your paint pouring journey. That's the whole point, is to progress and get better, try new things, experiment, and take your painting journey to another level. So thank you everyone so much. And I will see you again, I think. Oh, Barbara just said, the mix is real thick. I use it to thicken up paint sometimes. Yeah, it has a different consistency than the Flotrol. I know it's much thicker than that. So I'm excited to use it. We'll give it a shot. So, but thanks, Barbara. So, but anyway, that is it. So the acrylic pouring extravaganza is officially come to an end. Thank you again, everybody, for all of your great comments, your great questions, all of your support. Thank you to my members for showing up for all of these videos. I mean, they have access to all these resources already. They see plenty of me, probably, but they still showed up and were interactive in the group. They were answering questions, and they were sharing their experiences. So I can't thank you enough for all of your amazing support. We have an amazing membership. I love our members. Our Facebook group is fantastic. So if you want to be part of something really, really special, you have a few more hours to join. And with that, I will say, good night. Have the great rest of your Saturday. Have a great Sunday. I'm sleeping in tomorrow. And I will talk to you all again very, very soon. Thank you so much. I will talk to you very soon. Bye-bye.